I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Boss,
Present.
Pipia,
Here.
Graham, Hughes, Fry,
Present.
Schroller,
Here.
Thrum,
Present.
Barnes. Present. We have a quorum.
All right, the first item is approval of minutes from the January 28th meeting. There are ones in front of you, the amendments I had. The majority of them are just small changes or corrections. Do you want me to go over each and every one? And then Darlene has some too, she's printing out here. So let me see. You have page 3, number 6. Page 3, number 6. Page 3.
It was about changing it to 18th Street, which is changed in there.
Well, it
Page
doesn't
3 of the
read
agenda.
correctly, though, in the minutes. It
Okay, so
really
you-
should say that 18th Street was incorrectly identified.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you just want this one, you have that one sentence Cindy she wants to change?
Yep.
Okay, and then this next one,
And I think, Carla, you made a change already.
so we don't have to worry about that one?
But commission, it should be commission and not committee.
I think it's-
Planning and zoning commission.
Oh, okay, thanks for pointing that out. And I guess wherever we put planning and zoning, will you check that, Cindy, to make sure it says commission wherever?
Yep.
Okay, so we fix commission on truck bids. Let's see.
What's their real names, I think, is what she was
Here
going
they
with
go.
that. The names of the businesses, which nobody ever mentioned, so I had no idea what they were,
Okay,
because they weren't mentioned out loud.
scheduled, this here's, starting in line 2. So you just detailed that, you just put more detail in there?
Yes, because it said like Seneca instead of the
name of the dealership?
Which
Okay.
But
nobody-
did we actually say those names?
No.
I think some of them were mentioned, but
I remember hearing some of them off and on. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember hearing Honeyman and Nemaha Valley. I think we did talk, Beatrice, you brought up Twin Rivers.
No, that was in my
It's not
highlights.
in here.
Oh,
That was
that's
in my
not in here,
highlights, yeah.
okay. Anyway, I'm okay with adding them. Are you guys okay with that? Okay, so we'll change this one to Darlene's Fallen Rock on page 5.
It shouldn't be
And I-
falling,
I'm sorry.
it shouldn't be falling onto the parking lot. It's like when you put falling, it's like so finished, but it's a continuation, they are falling.
Well, I
actually,
had changed that too.
I said rock slide, which
Avalanche.
is what they're doing.
Avalanche, if I remember.
Avalanche.
Okay, so I changed to large
And
fallen.
I did not say that they should be picked up. I think we'll delete that.
Okay, so large fallen rocks under parking lot on 9th near Carolina. Are you okay with that? I need a little space
Yes,
there.
but
to
then
the little
I
space.
see that there's
Eliminate
not,
the-
yep. on
And then you
parking
want the
lot, nice.
period after fallen? Is that what you want, Darlene?
Oh,
Are you okay?
well, let me see where,
That's on page 4 or 5 at the very top.
yeah, eliminate the and need to be picked up. because
Okay.
that's
And then on the
not what it
police
said.
department, you want added purchase 11.
Yes, it says 800 radios.
That's the kind of radios they are. That's what's important, because that's why they
Well,
cost
that-
$5,000 a piece.
That doesn't, it says we purchased 800 radios for the
So
department.
we'll say we
So
purchased
We're purchased 11 800
800
megahertz radios.
What'd you say
Yes,
the big
that
one?
sounds better.
MHZ.
MHZ, okay? Are you okay with that? 11 MHZ, 800 MHZ radios?
Yes.
Okay, and the last one, light ordinance.
And I'd like that whole third paragraph changed.
Let's see. Okay. You're saying since that's your quote? Okay. So we'll put that in. All right. Does anybody have any other amendments? I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve minutes of January 28, 2019 meeting as amended.
I second it.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? 6-0. Oh, goodness, I have to start thinking. Public comments. Anyone who is not on the agenda is welcome to come to the podium to share for up to 5 minutes. Just give your name, your address, and your ward.
I'm Mark Hoffman, Marysville resident, 404 South 15th Street, Ward 4.
All right.
Marysville. Thank you for your time to address you. Here to represent Marshall County Connection, the group that, the board that oversees the Blue River Rail Trail. Just to update you on the progress of the last section of the trail we've been working on for about the last year and a half or so. That will bring the trail from the Jayhawk trailhead on in closer to town, and it'll come out at approximately the 7th Street, North Street intersection. There's where the trail property ends. Our tentative plans are to possibly have that section complete July 4th. We have an event every July 4th, and that would be kind of a goal for us. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It's dependent on weather and funding for purchase of rock, and we have 5/8 of a mile of chain link fence that we're going to have to install along where the trail property borders the railroad property. So that might be our last hurdle, and all that has to be done, before we can open up the trail for public use. So like I said, we're kind of shooting for July 4th, and that's our goal for right now. So that leaves the trail. Will exit the trail property, like I said, near the intersection of 7th Street and North Street, and then we've worked with the Depot Preservation Group to use the depot property as a future trailhead for there's a lot of parking there, some possible amenities, a bathroom, possibly a shower, benches, things like that, where people can park there, access the trail a lot easier than where they do now. So I think that's going to be a good thing. Like I said, we're working with the depot group on that, and they're very receptive and agreeable to make the trailhead there. So that leaves that stretch of 7th Street from approximately North Street to Calhoun, where the brick platform that goes along the west side of the depot extends up to Calhoun. And you talk to them about designating the brick platform as the trail use part of their property. So we're now looking at, how can we use or designate 7th Street, that 4 blocks of 7th Street, so people know where to go, whether they're going north or going south. If they're coming off the trail or they're at the depot, how do they proceed to get up to the trail property? Possibilities we've talked about are like a recreation lane, like is on 11th Road beside the golf course, or on North Street, north of the St. Gregory Cemetery, that lane that's designated as a lane for walkers, runners, bikers.
Do you know how wide that is,
It
that
won't,
recreation lane?
it won't work in that first block from Calhoun north to Laramie.
I know there's one block that is designated one way.
One way,
Right.
and you'd
Is
say
it just one, isn't it 2 blocks? That's what,
it's
isn't it
just one
2?
block.
I meant from north to get to Calhoun, isn't that 2 blocks?
Yeah, north.
Oh, North Street to Calhoun is 3 blocks.
3
Yeah,
blocks?
4.
Was it 4?
Yeah, it's 4.
Thank you.
But the first block going north is one way
Do I
coming
hear
this
6?
way.
It's 4 blocks?
No, it's 3 blocks.
I thought it was
Oh, no,
three.
it is 4 blocks. You're right. 1,
think there's
2,
May.
3, 4.
Okay,
That's what a map's for.
that's right, that's why I turned around.
Because railroad tracks set on the side of it and we can't encroach on their property
That
there.
was one of the other possibilities is the first 2 blocks from the north have a grass strip beside the street. I don't know if that's city right of way or if that's railroad property.
I don't know where the other line is, because the power poles and there's some, end of street markers and things along there. It looks like there'd be enough room, except for maybe the guide wires for the poles are kind of in the
Yeah,
way.
there would
You're saying
be
the
challenges.
first block you believe is too narrow for a bike lane?
Laramie
So you're
Calhoun.
saying,
La-
you're thinking that
Calhoun to
has to
Laramie.
go, so you're saying that has to go into the,
I don't know,
right-of-way?
because it's, the railroad's got their spurs hanging in there yet.
have you talked to them about that grassy area to know who owns that?
We have not talked with anybody.
Of course, we have some right of way on the east side of that too, I presume, as a city. I mean, that's outside,
Oh, I'm sure we do.
inside or east of the curb.
Right.
So, I mean, we might have some latitude to shift things.
Now, the recreation lane out on 11th Road and on North Street is marked as a 2-way lane, is that correct? Mm-hmm.
Bicycles go both ways on that?
Yep.
Runners, joggers.
Because there's on
everybody,
that one
yeah.
side, yeah.
So I don't know if that, for that 1-way block there, if you're still, if you have a lane that's marked 2 ways on, I don't know if that works.
That's like a
It's
weird
narrow
legal
street
question.
anyway, Mark. I mean, I don't know how well that's gonna work through there.
Yeah, well, I think we'll just have to find out about where the property line is and try to figure out what to do. So you say your goal is to have an open on July 4th.
Tentative goal.
I'm trying to look at your goal. You have a lot to celebrate if you do, right?
Yeah, it's been a long process.
So you want us to maybe have a street committee meeting on those 4 blocks and try to talk about how we can make that
If you have other
work?
ideas, we're just, these are the only 2 ideas we've kind of talked about. The other thing I think would be, or we think would be important is some signage so people know, yes, I'm still,
You want
either-
signage on the street on the paved street, or what are you saying?
well, wherever we want people to go.
Yeah.
If we have a lane, when you leave the railroad brick, saying the
Trail.
trail continues north here, or if you come out of the timber at North Street, continue on this lane. And I've talked to Michelle Weitzel. I know the Travel and Tourism is doing a sign kind of project and working with K-State to do signage for different features around town, so they all have similar signage and related signage. So and she's like, maybe we can incorporate that.
Yeah, or maybe Landell's made that big blue sign
Mm-hmm.
on the highway, and it looks nice. Maybe we can get something to match, coordinate with that if Michelle plans on keeping it, I don't know what they're gonna do, so.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at and what we're.
So when the committee meets, would you like to meet with them?
Sure.
And so, or would you be the contact person, Mark?
I could be, yes.
Okay.
Do you work with CES or any surveyors? Have you worked with them?
Yes. CES did all the survey work for the new section of the trail that we purchased from the railroad.
I wondered if they would continue their involvement. I assume they're working with you pretty well as far as that, figuring out where the property lines are on that running south on 7th Street, where the dividing line is between our property and the railroads. Because I don't know. It's a really undefined area.
Are you coming in on the west side of the red brick house?
Yes.
Okay.
Really?
You go up there, there's a couple abutments for the bridge there now, I
Yeah,
believe.
the dirt work where you would go off of 7th Street, kind of down the timber and turn north, the dirt work is pretty much done there.
So you can see it, where you're gonna head?
Where it would come up to 7th Street. So you guys
Okay, I'll have
wanna
to
take
go
a look
down
at
that loop. Well, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention, so we have at least, 5 months to work on it? I don't know if the city works that fast, but I'll definitely, street committee can work with you, maybe CES can come to the meeting as well, and try to figure out how to proceed. All right, well, good job.
Thank you for your time. If I can comment on one other thing.
Sure.
I want to commend the city on their snow removal and work on the winter conditions. I work in Hiawatha. They do not do a very good job compared to you guys do.
You drive all the way to Hiawatha to work?
And you guys do a much better job on the streets. I appreciate it.
Well, we're glad you live here. Thank you for your compliment to our street crew. All right, is there anyone else that would like to share that's not on the agenda? All right, next item is the ordinance 1872. It has the few changes from the last meeting and is shown as approved by the committee.
Mayor,
Yes.
on number 10, where it says 9th, Walnut to Ann, on the map drawing, it is showing Walnut to North Street.
Okay, wait a
So
second.
which is
Ninth,
correct?
Walnut.
Yeah, it's shown as number 10.
Yeah, you're right. How about that and, does it show and from 9th to 8th? And 9th, 8th, yeah, so that has to be changed. See up there on E, it says 8th to 9th, so we'd have to start at 9th and come down from
No,
and.
this would be going north.
Right, but I'm just saying, the connecting on and, 8th to 9th, is green on the map. So let's go back here, you were saying number 10.
The map says Walnut to North.
So it should be the
Well, it says 9th Walnut to Ann.
It
9th,
should be north, not Ann. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
What do you
I
say?
don't know
No,
which is
it looks
correct.
like it's
The map
going-
shows it being green from Walnut to North Street.
no, it goes up,
to Ann.
it goes up to Ann,
On North Street?
on 9.
On
On
9th.
Ninth.
I'm talking on North 9th Street.
Yeah, on 9th it goes to Ann.
9th Street, you see, it goes above the red is the North Street.
No, the first red on the west, that's 8th Street.
Right.
The next street is
Ninth.
9th, and it shows 9th green, on my map anyway, all the way to North Street.
And beyond,
And beyond.
And beyond.
Yes.
Yeah,
to Ann.
and
Right there. That's Ann.
And then it'll,
This
Yeah,
one
okay.
goes right there.
Okay, I guess that's right. Thank you.
It's past Ann, yeah.
because they make the circle.
It's good that you checked it.
Yeah.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve ordinance 1872. I have to have a motion for it.
I move to approve snow ordinance number 1872.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Boss,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Thrum,
Yes.
Barnes, yes, 6-0.
All right. The next item is flags on the bridges. Which of you gentlemen are going to share? You're all coming forward, okay. In mass.
Okay, I'm Greg Boss, 1010 Hotel, Marysville, Kansas, Ward 2, I believe.
I don't live in the city. Pat Elbecker, though, rural Marysville.
Jim Green, 1226 Heights Avenue, 3rd Ward.
We are here to request, like we have for the last, this has been going on now for about 5 years, we think. For the last 3 years, we've asked the city to please buy the U.S. American flags for the two bridges, which includes 16 flags. Last year, in case you don't know, the wind blew every day in Kansas. And it has really raised havoc with the flags. We have someone, we only try to buy them once a year. That's the project. We have an organization of volunteers that come and buy these service flags, Army, Marine, Air Force, and Navy flags. So we pay for those. We have a volunteer that hems the flags to make them last longer, because the American flags, 8 of them are up all summer long. Someone suggested that, why do we leave them up so long? We're hearing so many good compliments about the flags, and we had so many different events. In fact, we were going to take them down one day, and a police officer came up to me and said, we have this event going on at the Legion, we would love to leave them up for that, so we did. So we take them up and down, we do 100% of that. I think I didn't mention, we do have a seamstress that actually volunteers free of charge. I use the word hems them, whatever, reinforces them, so they, last as long as they can. we do have, you furnish a city employee for 18 minutes after he gets down in front of Boss Motors to get in the vehicle with us and go put the flags up and take them down, 18 minutes for both bridges. You do also supply a police officer, which, thank God. And I'd like to know which one of you guys call all the semis and tell them, hey, they're doing the bridges, let's go out there today. Because that's the day the semis are on the bridges. But, by the way, the most courteous people are the semis. It's the people that aren't paying attention to what's going on. So, anyway, they come to, Cindy's got the, probably real close to the amount, under $35 a piece. We need 16 of them. I would like to request from the city that they buy the flags again this year. And I think, in my thought, it would just be nice to be able to put it to where it happens every year. We don't have to come back and ask. So, that's my request. Any questions, we're here to answer.
It just leaves an aesthetically pleasing first impression on Marysville when you come in, I think. But that's my personal opinion.
I agree. Well, that's one of the things on this first impression. People from Lindsborg noted how wonderful the flags looked in our city.
It'd be nice to leave them up year round, but it's just not possible with this kind of weather that we've had.
Jim, is there anything you want to say?
I think they've said it all.
Okay, okay. Well, I do think they look great. I like the idea that it's a shared effort. You guys participate in buying the military flags and you also help put them up. And you're very efficient, so I appreciate that. So I see it as a shared thing. And I also looked up on Census Reporter. It says we have 9.1% veterans in Marysville, Kansas. They say 227 veterans in Marysville, Kansas. Wow. Pretty amazing. So thank you for your service. And I agree that I think we should just get this approved, that we buy the flags once a year, $500 once a year.
It comes over a little over 500. Cindy knows exactly. They're like $32 a piece.
When I can get them on sale.
Right, when we get them on sale. And if we do this before March 1st, from what I understand, if we do the order before March 1st, it will come at that price. And I think it's a no-brainer. And again, we buy the service flags, we get volunteers. I've got several veterans, and one time, he's now gone, passed away, but when I asked him if he would buy one, he said, absolutely. I would be upset if you didn't ask me. So, I mean, I think out of that, and like you say, I've never, ever had anybody come tell me that they don't like it. I think that they're a good asset to the city of Marysville, and it looks good. And I would think that, I'd like to be able to do this because, in case you haven't heard, I retired. But I promise you, I will still, as long as I can drive, we'll still be out there changing those flags every year.
Yeah, I think we should make it so they don't have to come for us every year and just replace that.
Is there a reason why you can't handle the American flags like you handle the military flags? Like, Cindy went and found at least seven
people that would donate 7 flags. I just asked a few people and I found people who would do 7.
Yeah.
If the city wants to do that.
No, I guess why not ask while you're doing the military flags?
You asked me, and you mentioned that there are also 401 flags have been donated to the city.
Yeah, I know that there was a big contribution of flags to
by the families of the deceased. And I figured that up at $38 for a 6x8 flag is a little over 15,000 has been donated by the veterans' families to the city.
And I know we just got that big flag donation at the cemetery for the Avenue of Flags.
I guess my thought is we're talking about under $600.
Right.
And I know that the city spends a lot of money on other stuff.
Other things, yes.
I would just think that from what we hear constantly from the people that come to Marysville and stuff, why'd you take the flags down? They love it.
We do get a lot of compliments on it.
We get a lot of
You're
compliments.
right.
And I would just think that the city could afford to spend less than $600 a year. And I'd like to make that.
I would like to hear a motion for
I'll make a motion that we donate the 16 flags for the bridges
on an annual basis.
on an annual basis.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very
Again,
much.
thank you for your service. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right, I need a motion to recess the regular city council meeting.
Move to recess regular city council meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, call to order the Public Building Commission. Roll call.
Boss,
Present.
Pipia.
Here.
Fry,
Present.
Schroller.
Here.
Throm,
Present.
and Barnes.
Present.
6-0, quorum.
All right, I would entertain a motion for the interest payment on the bonds for $49,000.
Move to approve the Kansas State Treasurer bond payment of $49,932.50.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the Public Building Commission.
Move to adjourn Public Building Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, 6-0, and we will resume the regular order of business. From the notices and hearings, I just want to report briefly on the joint meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council. First, thanks for everyone who came. I think it was very beneficial. Zoning Administrator Dave Richardson said that it was the first time it had been reviewed since it was written in '05. So we are beginning the process. It's good to know what the comprehensive plan says. And so it was also good to see some of the things we had implemented, the things that we had followed, the things versus the things we hadn't followed, and the consequences to some of those when we didn't follow it. I don't think we plan to revise the comprehensive plan until the Urban Development Master Community Plan is done. We were just trying to get familiar with the document and to understand some of it from a long-term planning standpoint. Some of the things we did talk about were the possibility of an industrial park, market rate, senior independent housing, continued code enforcement, development contiguous to existing utilities and street infrastructure, stormwater infrastructure. We talked about South 11th Road, Keystone, and South 12th Road improvements, and community partners. Karen Hughes, who serves on the Planning Commission, and Darlene and I went to Sabetha, and we shared about seeing their independent senior living facility that's sitting on 24 acres. It was very nice. We also met with the city administrator and the city clerk, and the city clerk actually drove around and showed us all their industrial park, and they have a beautiful community. They have a huge industrial park, and they have several businesses that have spun off from other businesses, and so they're a very strong community. So with that being said, again, I appreciate the time that was spent because it was a long meeting, right, Todd? But with that being said, I think it would be beneficial for us to host a town hall meeting in combination with a chamber mixer after the hours, and kind of talk a little bit about these issues with the community, whoever would come, either as a town hall meeting, just to kind of get some of the conversations and hear what they have to say. So you guys think that's a good idea? So if we can contact the chamber and see when their next one's up, and we'll see if we can kind of start those discussions and kind of see what everyone else thinks. We might even, I'm sorry.
I said, that's really impressive, because when they took the Highway 75 out of
Sabetha,
and moved it around, I thought, because I always liked Sabetha, I always thought that, it was just going to die. But obviously, these people stepped up to the plate.
Have you been over there lately?
Not in a couple of years.
Well, I was impressed too. One of the major things they kept reiterating in different things that they had built out were the community partners, community people being involved financially as well as planning to make all these improvements. They even showed that they're doing a $2.8 million wellness center over there.
Really?
And it's by community donations. And to think that they raised $2.8 million of community donations, and they also had a wonderful armory that was transferred to the city, and then community partners came in and are remodeling it to make it an event center. So they had a lot of really good things going on and trying to figure out, their community is extremely involved with the long-term planning of their community. Have you been over there, Todd?
Oh, yeah.
Lately? Or, I would...
Not everywhere, but I would do bike
I
rides
was
over
shocked
And
how
most
big their
of-
industrial park
And most of their projects are started maybe going 6-7 years. I mean, they don't try to do anything overnight. by the, the interested parties. And they don't ask the city to finance it until maybe the end, and maybe there's some shortfalls at the end, then the city.
So the people that were passionate about it, kind of from a grassroots standpoint, did it, so it was impressive.
And they have a grocery store. We go over there camping a lot at the
At the lake, yeah, we saw
At
the
the
lake, they
lake.
were ice fishing.
well.
I was thinking of you.
Well, this is the old lake that
Oh,
we
the
go
other
to.
lake? Okay.
Well, we go to both, but we camp at the old lake. And, it's they have a nice grocery store, and they just started a new, they have a Legion and a post, and they just started the auxiliary. They're starting the auxiliary now. The men are trying to get the auxiliary going. So, they have a lot of things, a very community-minded.
And they have strong wages there.
So, it is
And they do have an electric, but their mill levy is only like 47. So, a lot of
it is-
positive things going on.
Yeah,
So
a lot of
we
things
need to
going
try to figure out which one we can mirror into our community and make it work.
Yeah.
So that is my report. Does anybody else have anything to report on the joint meeting?
Well, I might add about the Planning Zoning Commission plans to monthly continue to review the comprehensive plan. So, of course, all of you are invited.
We did get a
Invited to
copy of
attend.
Sabetha's comprehensive plan, and they said that it took them a full year to update theirs, and they took a section a month, and they notified the public, so if you were interested in this section, obviously, like if it was a trails thing, they would say, we're discussing this, and the people would come, whichever meeting, and then after the full year is when they got, and I thought that was a pretty good approach.
Yeah.
So we will do that after the K-State study, we'll kind of put that on the burner for now. Any other comments about notice and hearings?
It was very interesting. I learned a lot of things from it, so.
Yeah, and they were extremely friendly and gracious of their time, so. All right, the next item is the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0, all right. The appropriations ordinance,
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3692 in the amount of $295,475.90.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion?
Well, I might mention that
I look at her specifically.
most of the items are for our employees' benefits, salaries, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, dental, and let me see,
96,000 was the MER, didn't it hit this time?
Transfer, yeah.
yes, that transfer.
Yeah.
BG Consultants, we paid them $7,400, and that was engineering on the Sea Cliff.
Which we're almost done.
Design
I
things.
saw that it was, their design engineering was 126,000, and we have probably less than 20,000 left to go or something.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So, all right, anything else? Roll call, please.
Boss,
Yes.
Pipia,
Yeah.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Fromm,
Yes.
Barnes.
Yes.
6-0.
6-0.
All right, Austin, you're up.
All right, first on the list is the cured in place piping, the CIPP project for this year, and we have upped our amount to coincide with the increase we wanted to spend on sewer. So we upped it from a little over 8,000 to a little over, almost 13,000 to 12,600 linear feet. As well as these other communities that are participating, they've really stepped up the game, especially Washington City and Washington joining back in. They brought our total linear feet from last year's project from 12,000 to about, what did I say, 23,258 linear feet. That's a lot and you compare that, that's about what Manhattan, City of Manhattan did completely last year. I think they did a project of 26,000 linear feet. And I'm hoping that this combined project will bring the prices back down to what they were last year.
We got a good price.
We got a really good price last year, because one, I think they were just finishing up Seneca's project, and they did their complete town, so they were in the area, the bidder that won. So we're just getting this out early on in the year so they can put us on their schedule.
Okay, who drafted this, do you know?
This was exactly the same as last year, other than updating all the linear feet.
Okay, so I just have a few.
Okay.
Marysville in the header,
Marysville.
okay? And in the list, it doesn't include Washington and Frankfort. You have Greenleaf, Waterville, and Lynn. You need to add Washington and Frankfort
Oh, in the
Right
list,
there.
okay.
in the first paragraph, who's participating.
Washington and Frankfort, okay.
Yeah, add Washington and Frankfort. And then we probably need to put this as City of Marysville to be consistent with everyone else right there for the 12,000.
Okay.
And that's all I have. Does anybody else have any changes to it or any questions about it? And then obviously, the last few pages are the proposals that they're gonna complete.
Fill out and send back to us, yes.
So if everyone else is okay, you can make a motion to approve with those few changes to go out to bid.
Move to approve as amended and go out to bid.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0, all right.
All right, the next one is quite a bit of pages, but a little explanation. Oh, actually, quite a bit of explanation. Did some work on ordering vehicles. We had 4 for this year, including police, parks, water, sewer, and a street vehicle. Did some footwork on trying to figure out if we could get state contract bids and where each supplier, or what each supplier could give us. Found out state contracts only went up to 3/4 tons or F-250, 2,500, and then for 5,500 or a F-550, Honeyman over in Seneca could do the F-550, but Chevy, any of the Chevy dealers in the area aren't doing their 5,500s, and the closest Dodge dealer to do the 5,500s is in Beatrice, Twin Rivers.
Twin Rivers.
Yep. So that was interesting in finding that out. The closest I could find for the Chevy dealer was in the Kansas City area. Actually, not Olathe, but Lee Summit, same company that I said, but in their Lee Summit store, they were the ones certified. They had to have $450,000 worth of inventory on the lot for them to qualify to get the 5,500s. So that's where you would have to go to get that. So I've attached specs for all the trucks we're looking at, and all the trucks are specified to each department on their needs in consultation with each of their department heads and what vehicle they're replacing. So you'll...
Well, when you actually go out for the bids, we'll need to have the bid so they can bid apples to apples.
Right. And we tried to do the specs as close, because some dealers, like Ford, has different specs than a Chevy. They don't always have the same,
Well, that might be true, but you need to list what the department heads need,
right,
and
right, that's what we did here in these specs. We
that
went
wouldn't be the way you'd send out a bid,
to each of
those
the,
specs.
to each of these, to Ford, that's how we always do it. We build the truck in this case, we build them on their website and send them in.
Well, she's the car dealer, or truck dealer. But I kind of agreed that it's kind of misleading because some of these, you can't tell what you're getting on each. So if you go and you say for the police department, okay, we want a truck that has X, Y, and Z, well, you might have, some of it might be standard, some of it might be an add-on.
Right.
You
But
may
this-
have to buy a package of 18 things to get the one thing.
Right.
you want.
Right.
But I think you need to list out what your requirement is, and then they put their bid in based on what your requirements are.
That's because we built it as they could build it.
But not all of these are apples to apples when you look at and there's no way you can tell from this, like this Honeyman bid, or they had all this stuff and you can't tell what it is. I think that all the changes, I think you want to specify, like you want this, and this, and this, and this, and then they will say, this is what you're gonna get, and these are your additional ones, these are the standard ones. I mean, so that we don't get to the point that, because some of these specs are, you can't say that they all have the same stuff.
They won't all have, they won't all
But you have to say what you want.
Right, but Chevy's not going to offer you the same exact feature that Ford is, and same with Dodge. They're each going to
But
have.
still, the police department can say, I want X, A, B, C, D, and E.
Right.
And you put a truck together with that. And you put a truck together with that. Those are the minimum things. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. We put a bid out there for the minimum, and if some of them have to throw in extra stuff to make those minimum, it makes sense. But you have to kind of start with what is required, irrespective if it's standard or an option.
Right, but we do put the.
For
but
those
that's-
service trucks, what you're gonna get is like just a stripped down, basic truck, pretty much. Some of them might not even have power windows.
Todd will tell you.
My work truck didn't have them, somebody added it later.
Right.
There's gonna be no carpet.
On our three vehicles, special service and police vehicles come as a package, and there's very few options that you can order. And in my bid, and in our things there, they're all marked off exactly what we're looking for from all three companies.
But how do you know that what you marked on the Silverado is the same thing you marked on Honeyman Ford?
It won't be. It's because there's a certain package will offer certain things on a standard, usually a WT, a work truck is what they build it from. They don't build it from a Silverado, they build it from an actual work truck and build it up, because a Silverado's gonna have a lot more flashier options than a work truck will. That's where they build ours from. And that's the plan. When you see SSV or PPV behind the vehicle, that's a special service or a police vehicle package they've already set up. We're just changing a few little things here and there. You can't say, I want this list. Yeah, you get the minimum. You get the minimum every one of their base trucks. For us anyway, I don't know anything about a 550. But I know for ours, special service vehicles come as a base, and you can add or subtract little things. It's like heated mirrors, but you have what's called a comfort package. If you want heated mirrors, you may not want it all the rest of the crap that's coming with it, but you'll get it, because that's the package.
But I think that would be clearer to me, like you say, I want a special vehicle, and these are the additional things I want.
That's what mine says in there. That's why you'll see the check or the X's are next to the options that we're looking to put on.
But you can't tell
But it's like the Ford truck, and I'm
compare
just
the Ram
guessing
to the
here, may
Ford.
come with options already in the package that say the Dodge didn't. We're just adding them in the Dodge package.
We gave a baseline for everything. I made heavy-duty alternators, running boards, Everything is across the board. Some of them did come with extra stuff that we didn't necessarily want or need, but
More to take it off.
but you don't get the thing that you need. So we added everything we needed, regardless of if it came in a huge package or not. So
It's like Ford, we have a Ford police truck now. I took the actual order sheet from Boss Motors. Honeyman, can you build this truck? Yes, done deal. He went off that sheet, and that's how he's building when we go to bid. Chevy and Ford have bid our trucks with me for over 20 years. They know exactly what trucks we're looking for and what we need on them, and that's the same way we've bid for all these years.
yeah, I went through online and made sure each one had exactly what we needed, and like I said, like you're saying, some of the things that we needed came in packages, and so I added those packages, and the extra stuff wasn't necessary, but that's going to come out in the bid on whether we buy it or not. Lowest price wins, obviously. So I put, when building these, everything, all the minimum standards that we needed.
And why is the Ram a 2018, and the rest of them are 2019, so?
Because they didn't come out with the specs, or their website is stuck on 2018. It's going to be pretty much the same truck. They're going to build it for 2019. It just says 2018. Because they're not building 2018s anymore.
Might have changed the body. Did Dodge change the body style?
They're changing it next year.
Yeah,
They're
it's
probably,
coming.
part of the reason they haven't changed some stuff is they're figuring out when they need to make that crossover and they can use up everything on work trucks.
That's probably true.
I made this cheat sheet because I had trouble figuring everything out. So I have, like the police one, so we have a new truck and a 3/4 ton, and the old one is going where? Water sewer? Okay. And
Half-ton, yep.
these are half-ton?
Yep, the police are half-ton.
Okay, so the half-ton truck, our options are the state contract out of Shawnee Mission Ford, is that true?
I think so, yeah, that's what I'm getting.
And the Nemaha Valley Motors one, Honeyman Ford, and the Silverado from Nordis. So those are our options there?
Right.
Do I have that right?
Yep.
And then the street one is replacing the 1997 1-ton. So I guess is that 1-ton going to go to Purple Wave or?
Yeah, we'll put it up for sale.
Okay, all right. We're not going to keep it though, right?
No.
Okay, so the two choices there, tell me if I have this wrong. I was just trying to figure out, is Honeyman Ford and Twin Rivers?
Those are the closest options if you wanted to go and actually try to see if you wanted a Chevy. My challenge on that is fixing it when it's broken,
Where you have to go for service, because you'd end up with a lot of time down and expenses involved with hauling it somewhere.
Hauling a 1-ton, yeah.
Yeah, I would hesitate.
you
I was
take somebody's
hesitate
whole
going
day each
for
time.
Chevy just based on that.
Don't shush me, Diane.
So yes, those would be the
two
closest options. Yes.
And then the Parks one is a 3/4 ton?
3/4 ton. Yes.
Replacing the 1995 flatbed? So that'll go to Purple Wave too. And so that's only a 2-door, that's what you want?
That's what he wants. Yes.
Okay. And then one of them had a long box on it. Is that going to be comparable?
That it's yes, yeah. It's all. I made sure because he wanted a.
You think those are all long boxes that you put in here? Because I didn't see that on the other ones.
The definition.
Oh, the Dodge will. It should. When
That Ram 2500 is a long box?
It's available in multiple boxes, I believe.
But I don't think it says.
we're taking
we
the.
would-
You're not getting a box on them anyway.
No, you're taking the box off.
Yeah, you're getting frame rails.
Yeah.
So even though it says long box
It'll
on
be.
it?
We'll put a flatbed onto it. We're not getting a box on it. And then we would get this if we bid the Dodge. It's coming out of Seneca.
Even though it said, I'm sorry, what'd you say? Just say?
The Dodge will come out of
Out
Seneca.
of Parks is Seneca?
Yeah.
Will come out of Seneca where?
What's the Nemaha Valley Motors?
Yeah, Nemaha Valley Motors.
I think the difference between that is a cab chassis is built on just rails and it's a different length.
Yes.
Than a box. A long box is a box delete.
Yes.
So the frame rails are
I
the
could,
different length.
that's the only way I could build that.
Chevys
yes.
are weird that way.
Yep.
So Chevys are weird, so that is a
Well,
half.
everything's weird.
So
Everything's
that's,
weird.
that's a
Everything's
have to.
different. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so those are our 4 choices on parks.
Yep.
And then the water and sewer is a 1-ton replacing the 1996 pickup with extended cab. And I assume that will go to Purple Wave as well.
Right.
And those are our 3 choices. Do I have those right?
You are, other than Twin Rivers, it'll come out of Seneca.
That would be Seneca, okay.
Yeah.
Seneca, New Home. Okay, I was just trying to get this. So when we go out to bid, since, are we gonna, so many of these overlap, are we hoping to say you can bid all 4?
Yeah.
Or bid them individually as well to see if we get a better price?
I would bid them individually, so if because they're all different, if they were all the same vehicles, I'd probably say, bid them all and you all.
But we have 3 that we want from Honeyman Ford. So we can say you can bid them individually or as a group and see if they offer us a cheaper price.
True. I mean,
I mean, if they get 3 truck contracts.
Okay, I could see it that way.
And Nordis is the same thing. There's an option. They could get 3 trucks.
I'd say we just don't let them do it. They have, like, all or nothing.
Either or.
Yeah.
Get both,
So all or nothing,
bid them
yeah.
individually as well as in mass.
Yeah, I mean, who
Well,
knows?
there's
Yeah, they
not
might
a
do
lot of
package
money
deal.
in this.
The money's in
Well,
the
I'm
service.
government contracts,
The money's
yeah.
in the service.
Well, I'm just saying that the key, we might as well make the offer because when you list these, there's only 3 or 4 dealers we're dealing with for the most part.
If I'm understanding this right, when a government goes out to bid, such as us, to a dealer, is it the dealer that makes the price, or is it the factory that makes the price?
On the state contract?
No, not on a
us.
government deal, just a general,
government
because
deal.
they're giving us a government
As a
price.
municipal, we get a price cut because we're municipalities?
Yes.
No.
No,
I thought that's what Greg told us.
I thought that's
Well,
what
there
Nordis told us.
might be, there might be something in place, but like that state contract, I mean, they're the ones who get the benefits.
Oh, the bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But they buy 1,000 vehicles too
Right,
of one
right.
kind. And
Yes, and they have,
Well,
yeah.
we might buy 4. That's why I thought we should at least see if they'll give us, even if they save us $200 or $400, it's $200 or $400. So
Do
we
you
can buy
guys-
the flags on the,
With the way it's set up and a limited capacity, so we could possibly get 2 bids from the state contract, do you still want to see the state contract?
well, let's see. It's for the half-ton and 3/4 tons?
Yeah, it would be the police and the
curious.
and the 3/4. You're just still curious, which is fine. They kind of got it.
I was, but I mean, if we can't even.
We can't get the 550.
Bigger trucks, I'm not sure if it's.
I hate to buy something from somebody and then take it to
to somebody else.
Yeah.
Locally to
Local dealer.
repair
and
it?
have it worked on. Well, you didn't buy it from me. Why don't you take it back to Shawnee?
Yeah.
Well, in the warranty work, you're only allowed so many hours, so and it
Oh, I
may
understand
be a
that.
lot more than that to
Yeah.
fix the problem, so.
Yeah,
So you
I
want to
agree.
pull the 2 state contracts out?
And they kind of got, I think one of them, I think Shawnee Mission kind of got upset with me last time 2 years ago. They haven't called me back since. When I went out and got state contract bids and they knew they were the lowest price and they kind of were upset. But that's neither here nor there because we want to keep these guys happy, obviously.
What will they do in Shawnee Mission? It's like thousands of trucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you guys feeling like we should go ahead and bid all these at once?
I think so.
Yeah,
They
I'd say we can- we can
take a
choose.
while to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we pay when we get the vehicle.
Did we, do we have a date that we said we have to, have you put a date down?
I haven't put a date. I usually they can pump them out, how fast? Like a week they get back. So I could bring them back next council meeting.
The bids, you think you'll get bids on all these trucks by next council meeting?
He gets his police vehicles within a week, 5 days.
Do we have the flatbed and the
We would order.
boxes and all that for everything, or?
We're getting prices on those, and where they will have to be built.
And I was gonna say, because there'll be a little variation if there's different lengths and things
Right,
to make
yeah.
sure you get the right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
used
So
to
they
sell
fit the
flatbed.
frames, right?
Yep.
Is that why you could explain
There's the
that?
company out of Bellevue that is the closest one that we get them from.
Okay.
Belleville.
Belleville,
Oh, yeah,
Belleville.
Mid-America.
Mid-America.
Yes, Mid-America.
Yeah, south there.
So does Washington not have them? Bradfordville is huge.
They never
They will do custom beds. I mean, just because they're more local, it might be something to
We're
consider.
at
Just in
Uh,
Washington.
Washington.
They've done fire truck beds and things.
Okay. We will check. I
Might be
just.
worth just, I mean,
Okay.
not putting a pitch on, I'm just saying check everywhere.
What were they called?
Bradfordville.
Oh, of course. Yes, Brad.
All right, so does someone want to make a motion to go out to bid?
I move we go out to bid for these 4 trucks.
Second.
To all the ones listed except for the state
Except for the
contracts?
state contract, correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0, all right.
Next up is the street loader maintenance. This is a regularly scheduled maintenance at 4,000 hours. It is odd in that how much in-depth they go in. They do all the fluids like normal and do more fluids than they normally do. They take apart the axles to get to the brakes. They take apart the brakes once they're in there. They schedule this for, I think it's 24 hours of work, 26 hours of work. So they're here for a couple, they drive their truck over here that's specifically for this and stay the night and do this maintenance on there. And it's expensive, more expensive. I think we spent $1,635 on our last maintenance for this loader.
Was that which one was, what would that have been, like the 2,500 or would that have been the 2,000 one?
It, I want to say it was the 3,000 or the.
Oh, every 1,000,
Yeah,
so
every
3,000?
1,000, yeah,
Or 3,500?
yeah, somewhere in
Is that 3,500 the one they didn't do?
No, they were late for the 2,000 one and got it done.
The 3,500?
Yeah, we've done all the maintenance. It just, yeah, it might be the 3,500.
So now we're doing the 4,000 on time?
Yes.
Well, they did, Gary did note that they do all the maintenance on everything up to, including 250-hour ones, and then we contract out for the ones bigger than that.
So, and I just, one, you guys should be approving this for how expensive it is. And two, just get this in your mind, maybe what future actions for this loader we might want to think about, either keeping it on board. I mean, the 4,000 looks to be the most expensive one.
So we should drive it a year at least,
Yeah. And then.
or maybe 2,
And this.
and then trade it in.
And doing this maintenance also helps keep, because, for resale, because they know we've been maintaining
Take
it.
care of it, yeah.
So I have it up for your approval to have this maintenance done.
Well, at 5,000 and 6,000, it doesn't look like there would be that much maintenance
Right.
required.
Right. But we're still doing, yeah, see, every 1,000, every 500.
But they don't have to do a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
We just will be doing it.
Yeah, we'll be doing that.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that. I know we just put loader tires on 2017, so we'll decide that in part of the
In the
planning.
future, so, yeah.
So really, we're not approving that, we're just approving to go ahead and proceed with this maintenance.
Move to approve having Murphy Tractor do the maintenance on the front end loader.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0.
All right, next one, just notifying you that we're hiring Tim Anderson back as a reserve police officer at $15 an hour to try and fill in on weekends while Officer Firking, especially while Officer Firking is at training. This is beneficial to us as Tim is still certified and can get on the streets right away. He'll be using county equipment, and so we won't have to supply him much in regards to that. And I think Fridays and Saturdays, right, Chief?
Yes, and our part-time guy we hired won't be able to be by himself for 6-8 months.
Right.
And with working gone as well, we're pretty short-handed on weekends.
Right. So,
I think we're very fortunate
right.
that
This
he's
is
available.
very beneficial. And this is below, he's getting paid below our current
Officers.
Packet's on
Our other
reserve.
reserve officer.
Yeah, our other reserve who's been here for a long time, but higher than the other reserve because he's already trained and has experience.
So he'll be working just the 14 weeks then while Perkins gone?
We'll probably keep him on to keep our hours down for other people. But specifically, especially, like I said, especially while we're down to people at training and people who aren't ready to be out on the street by themselves. Yeah, and just 2 days out of the week, because that's when he can do it. Yeah, like I said, reserve officers really help keeping hours down for other officers, which saves us a lot of money. The next one is we're hiring Maria Seamatter and Ricky Bikeman as assistant pool managers, and they're filling 2 of the 3 assistant manager roles at the pool, and they'll be making $11 an hour per the wage scale approved last fall. They have combined a lot of experience and something that we're looking for in the management section of our pool, and not to say, but they're adults.
I'm glad they're back.
Yeah. So they'll be putting things together, which they're running right along. We had an earlier than usual due date for people applying for the pool, which doesn't mean we're not still accepting applications. It just means we were looking to see what we had. Minus the managers, we have 14 people who applied to be lifeguards, and they are either certified or getting certified, and so they're getting that in line. And I think I said we had 8 people for concession stand and admissions.
Do you think it helped that we agreed to pay for their certification?
I think it helps, yes. It definitely helps. We had people come back that said they weren't going to come back. So it's definitely refreshing. I think it benefited them, it's going to benefit us, and I think we'll be in a better place starting off the season. We're already in a better place with Kathy running the pool.
Strong management.
Oh, yeah.
Helped bring them back.
She has been a lot of help, yes. Financials, after a month, our expenditures are doing pretty good. For general fund, we only spent 7.07% on the budget, while water and sewer and sales tax are at lower percentages, 6.79, 6.37, and 3.0% respectively. You'll notice that we have a lower than usual receipts for sales tax and swimming pool funds. We just hadn't entered those sales tax receipts. They will be shown at the next time we got the money in. It's actually higher than last January by $10,000. So
Yeah, they were significant.
yeah,
It's good to see.
That's good to see. So other than that, I think we're starting the year off pretty well. General fund is higher than starting off after the last month, or after last January. I forget by how much we were up. I have 50 pages to go through. But
On this little chart here on the number of days of utilities, I think you should, I think this calculation is right, so you might check that.
I think I updated this to this one, but not the other one. I have to.
Oh, I
have
thought
to
it was
look
the
at-
opposite.
Yeah, I
But
think
okay, you check.
I'll double check both of those.
Okay, you check that.
Let's see.
Because I thought the one on the back was right. And then on this master project list, now that 7th Street intersection is going to come out of sales tax, right?
We haven't discussed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 35,000 we have to come up with?
Yeah, we have to. We'll discuss that, but probably. And I would. Yeah. Okay.
And then I think the two things I'd like you to list on here too is maybe is the 41,000, the economic development one with K-State, so we can track how monies are being spent there. And add the taxiways for the airport. I don't think that taxiways are.
On future projects. Okay.
On the master project list?
Yeah, but down here, right? Because they haven't approved that yet.
The 41,000 that we,
No, for the taxiways.
taxiways, yeah.
Yeah.
So the future potential,
Yep. Future projects.
or you want it under projects identified but not funded?
Yes, that one.
That one, okay.
And then-
So put the airport there, just so we can keep track of it.
Okay.
And then I guess from our standpoint, if you add up all the sales tax there, that, assuming that the 7th Street hump comes out of sales tax, it comes to about $915,000. And we also have to have our transfers to our general fund. So that would bring it up to 1.2 million, 1.285 million. So with that being said, we have budgeted revenues of $915,000. So it will pull down if we proceed with all these projects. It will pull down our sales tax balance by $370,000. And that is, but we can, if our sales tax is strong, that's the only thing that would offset that. We have $915,000 budgeted for revenue for the year, and like January came in $10,000 more than last year. I think our end of the year ended up being $50,000 more than last year for total sales tax to the 1% sales tax. So it's just, I don't know if you want to say maybe we should wait, or you just want to accept that the sales tax fund could potentially go down $370,000. I mean, it's kind of like you have to make that call before we proceed with all the engineering. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I mean, you just have to add all the pieces together.
Right.
So if it goes down 370 right now, I think our budget is 790 or something like that. Well, we have it right here. So what is it sitting at? Oh, well, it's understated because it doesn't have January in there.
Right.
But, so if it's at 850 and it goes down 370, it's gonna be under 500,000. I just want to point that out to you guys.
Where's the K-State money coming from? Is that sales tax too?
I assume, no, industrial fund.
Industrial.
That's industrial.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what we said.
So when you just add up all those pieces, I just want to make sure you're not going to swallow hard when our sales tax goes down possibly under 500,000 at the end of the year.
And we don't have a car dealer selling vehicles. The last one.
Oh, sales tax.
It will be okay.
We don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can't predict too much. But anyway, I didn't know if you want to say, maybe we should hold off and make sure sales tax holds for 4 or 5 months?
I think that's a good idea.
I mean, we can definitely hold, I think the easiest thing for us to hold off on is the 7th Street from Elm to Walnut. And it's 121,000 out of sales tax. And we can just kind of back off, wait about 3 or 4 months, see what it looks like in May.
I think
And
that'd
somebody
be-
could pick up
I'd
a smaller
rather-
project
yeah,
if we want to go
I'd rather
forward.
be safe.
I just, when you add all the pieces up, it's kind of like frightening, like, are we prepared for this? So we'll just kind of defer this to maybe look at it the first meeting in June and see how our sales tax is hanging and then decide. It also gives us a little flexibility in case we have an emergency. Sales tax is always our go-to. So you hate to, All right?
That's,
So we'll defer that till like June 1st, maybe?
okay, yeah, we'll get the plans back and be just.
Just kind of hold,
Yep.
make sure our sales tax holds for the year.
Yep. Any other questions on financials?
Just for you, last year, I think in this meeting, you gave us all your training for the year, so maybe you can do that for next year.
That was planned for next
Next
meeting.
meeting?
Yes, I didn't have any time to put those together.
Okay, and the other thing is on the LMI project. So are you going to just give us weekly, in the weekly highlights, the updates of the LMI surveys?
Right, because Emily's been sending those on to me when she gets the.
Wait, just weekly, is that what she's doing?
We've only been through 1 week, so yeah.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
And so we, as a council, would we ever do the door-to-door thing? Would that be
When we get
us?
when you can, that'd probably be that's the first people asked to volunteer. So yes.
So that, you see that like maybe 4 weeks out, see how they're coming, or?
Yeah, because we gave until April 1,
Will
but
it
we
be
want to
warm
be.
by then, March?
Hopefully.
I'll pick the coldest day of the spring.
But anyway, I didn't know if that was potentially our role or not.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we'll keep that. We've gotten 73 as of last week. 73 returned to North Central Regional Planning. We've also had some dropped off at City Hall.
73 out of how many?
504.
Well, that's just 1 week, Kev, come on.
I know, I'm just,
But I did,
But plus the ones that are dropped off at
Right.
City Hall.
I was encouraged though, because some of this information that I got from Ellen Barber, that she got it from Luke Mahan, who is economic development person in Republic County. And it says household income for 2017 for Marysville, and our number is about 60,000. And it shows 65% of our households are below that. I hope they're right. And I hope they're part of the 504. But anyway, I just thought that was encouraging, you know. I don't know if it's right, but that was 2017.
Let's go back to this.
Did you have anything else?
Yes, I do.
I actually kind of hope it's wrong, just for the record.
We want 51. We want 51.
I mean, but in the big picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
51 and then have big growth in salaries.
Okay, I'll do this now as part of my report, but the street committee held a meeting to review potential engineers for the C-CLIP, for the construction engineering. We had five people. KDOT actually advertised for us, sent it out to 25 engineers to apply, and we got 5 applicants. The 5 were Wilson and Company, Cook, Flatt and Strobel, CES, BG, and Lochner. And we evaluated, not based off of price, because they didn't include a price. They weren't asked to include a price by KDOT. We evaluated by their qualifications. And it was pretty close. 3 reviews gave the same consultant, but there was close number 2. But the committee came to a consensus that we recommend, or they recommend, the group recommended BG Consultants to do the construction engineering for the C-CLIP project. So I'm bringing that to the council to approve.
So that's the committee's recommendation.
you need a motion on that?
Yes, need a motion.
Move to approve B&G Consultants as a project engineer.
Construction engineer.
Consultant,
Yep.
okay,
Second.
on the C-CLIP project.
So it was pretty close in determining which was.
It was hard.
It was hard,
The best
yes.
thing
I was gonna
about it
say,
though, is they give you you grade each one on each categories, and based on the information they present to you, it makes it easier for you to figure out how to rank them. And some of them are more specific and geared towards that chart, and some were not.
Right.
So the ones that were, and some gave more data than others.
Right.
I bet it's hard, because I'm sure all 5 of them were qualified to do the job.
Yes, yeah, KDOT selected, they're on a pre-qualified list. All these engineers came off a pre-qualified list.
Nice.
They were all willing and able to do the project, so.
So did you make a motion?
Yes.
And did you second? Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0, all right.
And then the second thing we discussed was the Transportation Alternative Project. KDOT awarded City of Marysville the Phase 2 of our Transportation Alternative application. Phase 1 was the Brick Street in front of Cromie's. Phase 2 was 7th and Broadway, that asphalt hump. Phase 3 was the first block of 7th Street north of 36, and Phase 2 was the rest of the way to Calhoun on 7th Street. They saw fit to award Phase 2. I believe it was because it was an intersection of everything they wanted. A trail, an already completed project that they funded previously, and a historic downtown. So all those numbers came together for us. They did give us tips on how to apply for the north phase, 2 phases. They didn't mention anything in their tips about Broadway in front of Cromie's. So that tells you kind of where they were thinking. They really like they like the pathways for.
And they like that they can tie it into something they've already laid out for.
So that gives me hope to apply for future grants when they come open. And I was admittedly kind of skeptical on how they treated our application process in the first place, but they saw fit to award us a little over $91,000 in federal funds, and it's an 80-20 match minus the design engineering, which is on top of that. So the committee discussed it and saw fit to recommend we continue with CES as the design engineer for the transportation alternative, and that's for you guys to
Austin,
approve.
I
Yes.
have a question.
Yes.
At Rotary a week ago, you talked about it was going to be a raised path. I thought we were flattening the
I made a copy of that because a lot of people weren't on council, or you're gonna hand that down. And I took a picture of this too, sorry, Austin. So that they could see what was in the, here. So I guess, are you talking about what was in the article, the newspaper?
Well, Austin spoke at Rotary.
So I went to look up, I read what was in the newspaper, and so then I compared it to what we approved in August, and we said that it was to match the pavement on both sides and a small negative grade separation and new brick paving. And then on the second page it says, embed the paver brick to match existing grade of the spoke on both sides. And it'll be the bike ped path will be delineated with new bricks laid in a different pattern, which is what this picture shows.
And I will tell you that they will not approve this.
But that's what we presented.
I know, but they specifically said no brick in the pathway, other than what's already there.
Because it's not their requirements for design for pathways.
Right.
They don't
You're saying
want brick.
we have to pick concrete there?
We have, it's gonna be concrete, yes.
But in the newspaper article, you said a raised platform, but that's not what this says.
It's, but that's also one of the things that they said. They wanted, and I can go get what the email or the grant the document they sent. They said no brick in the pathway, and they also said to match, you're gonna match the height of these.
Well, that's what this said too.
Right.
This said to, it
It's
said
gonna
to
ma-
match the pavement
It's
on
gonna
both.
match that.
Right
but-
now, the wheels are actually lower. If you look on like Google Earth, Google Street View, you can see that the wheels are actually lower
Yeah.
than the pavement in the middle. It actually humps both ways. Because it humps longitudinally along Broadway and laterally along 7th Street.
Right. There, yeah, it's,
But I never, ever thought, number one, we were going for speed control. That was never, I don't remember.
that's what they want though. That's what the transportation alternative, KDOT wants. They want,
I've never heard them
awareness.
come back and tell us how to change it.
they sent it with the grant. That's, when they approved our grant, they sent how they wanted this.
Conditional.
They
Yeah.
sent conditions.
Can you send that out to
I've seen that
everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All I had to go on is what we approved.
right.
So,
Oh, yeah, I'll send that out to you and show you exactly what they said.
and so do we have to approve that by a certain time?
They gave me until March 29th to get all the paperwork back.
Okay, so we can talk about it at the next meeting?
Yes, yep,
About what they want us to change based on this?
yes.
And to approve the engineer at that time? Is that all right?
That's fine.
Okay. All right,
Let's see. So you need at the next meeting or two?
next meeting.
Next meeting. February.
Yeah. Because we'll have plenty of time to do that if you have the information already.
Yes.
It's not a big deal.
Yep.
I just,
And then I guess the other thing is, I guess we're kind of moving along to streets right now. But, are you okay if we move to streets? So, this we can talk about because it's our property, right, on 7th Street?
Yes.
Okay, here, so I took this picture too. There you go, as long as I was in that set of packet. And I used a copying machine at my house. But, so I just wanted to this was what was proposed for the 4th phase of the TA project. And so when you talk about a building, a water sewer building, are you going from Calhoun to the alley or Calhoun to Alston?
Calhoun to the alley.
So this box right here,
Yes.
okay. So I guess we will have to change, if we decide to do that, we'll change this.
Right.
Since it wasn't approved, KDOT, if we reapply later, we can change plans slightly.
Right.
We're
And,
not locked in
well,
on the 4
they
phases.
gave us, they gave us the tips basically it's a new application. They gave us how they wanted this changed.
Okay.
Well, do you think you think that we probably should have talked about this while or you think the trail people are gonna be okay that we put a building there?
If you look, nothing against spruces. Nothing against spruces, but you're gonna put a nice brand new building
I'd
up.
like to think our street shop there, or water sewer shop there will look pretty
Improve
upkept
the
and
area?
nice.
Okay. Yeah, and
That's what I'm saying. I'm not
especially
saying it's
we're
not good
not, what I was tasked to do was see if we could actually do this. And this was not saying that this was actually absolutely what we were going to do, but we were seeing if we could. Now, we would have to take up that whole lot. And Kent said he wouldn't, if we put it there, we wouldn't need a yard, because we would move him closer to the piles that we already have up on 8th Street.
And it would probably depend a little bit on the layout of the structure you would put there, fencing, what it would look like. I mean, as an example, Westar's fencing is more appealing than a lot of
It's
fencing.
very nice, yeah.
Well,
And if there's
Trees and
and if
everything.
north of the depot is turned to green space, which is, I think, the long-term goal, it won't all be as sterile as it is right now in that area.
And it would just be a building. It would be a building taking up the entire 2 lots that are there, going on to the streets, going on to the alley if this isn't, I mean, just depending on how we want to do this.
I was going to ask if the doors are going to face north-south. Are you going to have drive-through building? How's that? Do you know any kind of idea what
The
you're looking at?
idea would be the offices on the north side, the office, the
Facing
bathrooms, facing Calhoun. They would have on-street parking that matches up with Bruce's on the other side. And
Parking on the north side?
Parking on the north side, and initially, I mean, if we still want to do, we didn't take into consideration this portion right here, but initially we were, Kent was thinking we would drive out the south side for the big vehicles and have smaller doors over here to park our trailers inside and so on.
And I assume the place would be well lit. I mean, that's the kind of thing too, is right now the depot's had security concerns.
Right.
So having more lighting and more activity and things in the area might be
Help reduce the.
a good for the neighborhood.
Right,
Yep.
right. And we put lights on the outside and do all that stuff. So like I said, preliminary, we can fit a building there. That was the question. We could put the water shop there.
So we can put the proper needed size there.
Yeah, it would, yes, but the catch is we would have to apply for variances to keep with the rules, because you're only allowed to cover so much of the lot, and you're only allowed to,
We have to
we have to have
plead
setbacks.
to the
We have-
Planning and Zoning
To the
Commission
Planning and Zoning
for the
Commission.
city to
Yes.
have a variance.
We have to ask for that, because we would be covering the entire lot, and we
Do
need,
they have to ask neighbors then?
we'll follow the
Probably
procedure.
have
I know, I was just asking, I don't know the
The
procedure.
They all
upshot
have
is,
neighbors within so many feet.
and the upshot is this is property we already own,
Yes,
All right.
so,
which is undeveloped and not developable for a lot of things.
right.
But something like this, where you're putting concrete over it,
Right. So that was, we set out to answer a question. Kent kind of went out and measured where a building would sit, and I mean,
Did he put some stakes? I'd kind of like to see what,
he spray painted how far 90 feet and how far 130 feet. I forget
is
how
that
he did that.
still visible?
Depends on, well, probably not the weather.
Oh, it doesn't go away real fast though, isn't that what they spray?
But he did it in his own way. It's got to be fixed to actual.
what if we had a water department employee that was really good at sketching things? Could they put like something together as kind of an example?
We can come up with whatever example you guys.
It'd be kind of
would
nice
like.
to see what it would kind of look like. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it'd be kind of neat to see how it would
A
set there.
visual.
Yeah, a visual. Okay.
All right. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page, how much space that was going to take. And
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't set out. I think I got a phone call from somebody. I didn't set out to. It was a kind of a misunderstanding that I didn't set out to make a decision. This is all theoretical, I guess.
If we
well, I
do,
guess we haven't actually approved that space yet.
No.
We're just going to see the visual. maybe.
something else I think we should consider when if we move forward with putting it there is getting that section of Calhoun. I know it's part of this phase 4, but getting that, it's rough as all get out. It'd be kind of if we don't do work there before we put up a building, then we better have it planned, I think, pretty shortly
In the
thereafter.
future.
Because
Fix that street.
the brick section in front of Bruce's is really bad as is.
Curbing's
The curb's
horrible.
upheaving,
Yeah.
upheaved?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's heaved.
It's
It's heaved up.
So this right here is brick.
Yeah, that's
Calhoun.
brick and potholed, and there's still the ties for the crossings underneath in that middle section. We keep putting rock there, but it gets quite a bit of traffic.
You mean right there?
Yeah, the old
Or
railroad,
there.
right there,
Yeah.
correct. Gets quite a bit of traffic.
And then the curb cut, where it's kind of filled in on the
Yeah.
7th Street side there,
Yeah, because the street's supposed to curve there.
Yeah.
It's that whole area, and this kind of goes to the
Well-
trail thing too. It's very,
And we need,
Yeah, we need to have somebody go
Organized.
take pictures
we need a storm sewer.
of 7th
on the
Street,
south
so when
side
Street
there.
also it
Committee
holds
talks.
water.
Yeah.
there's a lot right there at that corner,
Yeah.
so. But it'd be good to have that cleaned up,
It
because
would.
if it gets traffic, that means people want to use it, so it should be fixed, in my opinion.
after we have our sales tax done.
It's all a big project.
It's all
Okay,
money,
just
isn't
wanted
it?
to add that after we
Sure.
make sure we have sales tax dollars. Okay, so with that being said, so we can, street, do you guys have anything else on street? Water, wastewater, just from the highlights, we talked about the frozen meters, and that if the city repairs them, then it's free. How do we communicate that to people?
I mean, the plumbers know it, and they've been trying to they've been contacting, but sometimes the people just say unfreeze it, and then we had somebody come in and go, who pays for that? And, well, if the plumber would have just said, called city and we would have came out and fixed it.
The meter was frozen.
Yeah,
we would've
the
fixed it.
plumbers typically are good at communicating with us, but there's just, I wanted to head off an issue if they're calling you with, hey, my meter was frozen and now I have to pay for it. Do you know why? But when they're calling the plumber and tell them their meter's
So
frozen.
once a plumber says the meter's frozen, they have to know to call the city next? If
Right,
the plumber
and
doesn't say it?
Plumber should.
The plumbers are good. Like I said, the plumbers are good. They've been good. They were good when all these were going on. We just had the one person, and I just,
Well, can we put it on the website under the water department, that, just that header and say, with this time of year, I mean, at least it will be on the website somewhere, under
Yeah,
water
or-
department?
or to put a little flag up there, with the weather we're having now, if this happens, just
Now,
kind of information.
and I want to make sure if you see your meter lid even slightly off, that makes a big difference to your meter. So
Oh, it freezes?
it does. It gets that air down in there. Make sure your meter pit lid is on properly. Otherwise, it will freeze.
I can't find it, it's snowed under.
Then you're good.
It's insulated by snow.
Yeah, all the snakes in my pit would freeze.
With mine too.
Diane, when we're on the radio tomorrow, make sure we mention that.
A lot of
about
people
the
don't
lids.
they're frozen, but they think it's in their house. So that's why they call the plumber.
Well,
Because
and
the water-
water
Yeah,
has
I
to do,
can
I mean,
understand.
until you
Yeah, and
show
that's-
up, you don't.
Exactly.
know.
And
Yeah.
so that's what they call the
Are
plumber.
you telling them
and
to call
then-
the city,
I mean,
Jason?
I haven't anybody that's had their meter pit froze,
Yeah.
but it's been a few years ago I had one.
We had quite a few.
Did you?
Yeah.
all in one little area.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, really?
kind of funny. That one lady told me she'd been there 60 years and it never froze before, so that probably, maybe her lid was a little askew or something.
So we can talk about that on the radio, and if you put it on the website, at least we've done what we can for this year, and then we'll try to put it in next year in the newsletter in October.
Right.
Okay, and the only other thing, I noticed that our sewer truck went to Frankfurt and Hanover.
Yes.
And it collapsed on our sewer hose as well as our men working overtime.
Yep.
So we get to bill all that,
Yes.
and for the repair of the sewer truck? Okay,
Well, the sewer truck didn't get hurt. It was
It
just,
didn't?
it just got stuck.
it just,
They dug it out.
I thought they said it collapsed onto the hose, but the hose was still fine?
Yeah, the hose was just still fine.
Okay.
I mean, if there was something, we'd bill them for it, yes.
Okay, well, that's good. We're the only ones with a sewer truck in the area,
In the
I
area,
guess?
Yeah, probably moderately priced.
You mean billable
we help-
hours?
Because, I mean, there's Frankfurt Porta Potty and there's,
They have a sewer
Mitchell.
truck.
yeah, and
Pump
Mitchell
truck.
Plumbing. But we do mutual aid and the,
They help us when
They
ours
help,
goes
yeah.
down.
yeah, so it's a mutual aid sort of thing.
I
they
was gonna
call
say,
us.
we usually call Mitchell,
Yep.
there's the
Yeah.
Right.
porta potty,
And we
because we're
had-
in crisis.
We had
mode.
either, we had Seneca come over when we had that too.
Force main break?
Yeah. So they sent over as well.
Okay, just wanted to make sure
Yep.
that we at least, especially when we had overtime and stuff.
Yep.
All right, anybody else have water, wastewater? Parks and Rec?
I understand that, and I guess I hadn't thought it through completely, all the ramifications. The old UP dorm site out by Lakeview is our backup snow storage spot.
Yep.
But some people were kind of concerned about all the salt that's mixed with the snow draining down onto the fields and maybe causing grass issues come spring.
Is that true?
Is that something that we're worried about at all?
I mean, if they do the top of the field, that's quite a ways to drain down.
Well, quite a bit of, it was, I mean, and I'm not complaining at all, I appreciate the work Steve Crew does, so, to be clear. But I think a lot of it was on the south side, I mean, because they were making room, you would pile it the farthest south you could get, but it
Right.
looks like it would drain kind of down that direction across the driveway. And so,
Was it melting down that new groove that we put in?
well, that's what I would wonder, is if it's,
It would catch, it probably
should be
catch that
catching
groove.
all of it?
It
Okay.
goes there because
That's
that's
it's
tipped.
huge.
Yeah, there's
I
a huge tip to it.
Just something we might want to watch in the spring to make sure, because that it is catching it, but
Yeah.
they were just a little concerned that it might have
Yeah, I
some
didn't
kind
know.
of negative effect
Well,
on the
actually, it's
field.
supposed to get to 50 on Wednesday, so
I
we
think-
can see where
I
the
think
melting
everything
goes.
will be gone.
Yeah. No,
We'll see
yeah,
if it's going down the groove.
yeah, if it's on that side of the groove, there's
be good.
no way it can miss it, especially
How do we get
with
more?
the slow melt, or even a fast melt,
Saturday,
yeah.
Sunday.
back and forth.
Okay,
Back
great.
to snow, yeah. All right, anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery, Airport? Police and Fire? Admin and Finance? I did ask Ellen to set up a meeting.
And she can come no days in February, so you better pick a day in March, so I
Okay.
can start.
Okay, because,
And not March 5th.
just so we can look at all those things. I mean, I did pull up some of the information she forwarded me on economic development and talk to that Luke Mahan from Belleville and,
He's
So-
right from Cortland.
oh, he's from
He would
Cortland.
want me to say that.
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
gonna put that out there.
Okay. So I pulled some of that information, like I said, I gave
You
tonight
have a
from that
day.
census reporter. I'll have to look at my calendar.
Well, and I will still be doing taxes too, so I appreciate if you can call me.
So what does that mean? What's the best
What
time for
days
you?
of the week do you
Well,
do that?
Morning?
I don't know.
Afternoon?
I'm only concentrating on this week.
She was
so-
thinking evening, Ellen was thinking evening.
Is, you
That's
don't
what she
do
was-
taxes at night?
But I have other things scheduled.
You have other
too.
schedules, okay. Well, we'll have Cindy check with you before we book it. How about that?
Okay, yeah. Ellen was just looking at evenings, so.
All right. So I guess we'll move along to appointments and wage determinations. Don't have anything, city attorney is not here. I do think we need an executive session, just for about 15 minutes is all. And to include the governing body, the city administrator, and the mayor. Just 15 minutes. So
There you
B1.
go. Keep passing the buck. That's what I do.
I move the city council recess to executive session pursuant to the B1
A non-elected personnel.
non-elected exception of the KSA 75-4319B1 to discuss
Employee
employee
matters.
matters. This executive session will include mayor, city council,
And city
and city
administrator.
administrator.
Yeah.
Executive session will begin at
8:36, 8:37.
37 for 15 minutes.
Yeah, 52.
52. Resume back in the council chambers at 8:52.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. You want to pass that to me? I don't think we're going to have more than one. We'll call the regular session back in order. No binding decisions were made. And we will continue to roundtable. The only thing I want to say is congratulations to Sammy and Will and their new baby Josephine Elizabeth. So grateful that everything went well, and we will miss her. Won't we, Cindy? We will miss her.
We are missing her really a whole lot already.
And just enjoy that precious time.
And she's coming back. She's coming back.
And thank you for Diane. She volunteered to be on the radio with me tomorrow, so I'm grateful for that. So keep that in mind when you have a free Tuesday. All right, Darlene.
I had a question about the study that K-State is going to do for us. Are they going to be having meetings?
They haven't really established what they're gonna do. It looks like they're gonna, it sounds like either they're starting in the summer or the fall, as far as classes go. And it's by a professor that it's doing it. I haven't received very much detail on when and what and where. I've heard, they didn't come and visit me, but I've heard they come up to Marysville at least once to look around and talk to.
They already have?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't know it until after they left, so.
Oh, so they talked with just Jennifer?
I think they talked to Michelle, they talked to Jennifer.
Well, we want to be in the loop of this because we're paying for it.
Right, and like I said, I found out after they left that they were up, so. Yeah.
Okay, well, try to communicate that we want to be in the loop because we're paying for it. We haven't paid them anything yet though, right?
Nope.
They didn't
Okay.
submit a bill yet.
All right. All right. Anything else?
No.
Bobby?
Nope.
Todd?
Oh, heck no.
Diane?
I came to the planning meeting the other night, and I thought it was very informative. I learned lots of things that I didn't know about.
That comprehensive plan is a beneficial document that we should reference when we start doing budgeting each year. We should
Yes.
look at it.
Yes, it was quite informative, so
Yeah.
I
And I'm
thought Kevin and Dave did a good job of presenting it, so,
And I was grateful for the Planning and Zoning Commission people who attended,
yes, so,
and all of them, but especially those attended.
And the council people who attended.
yes.
That's right. Anything else, Diane?
No.
Kevin?
Like street crews, keeping the streets salted.
Yeah, man, what lies ahead, right? And Jason? All right, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8:55. Woo-hoo!